Here we go. Ryan farted. Ah, she's killing me. God damn it.
Yeah, the Hoppy boys.
Happy Christmas! Ho, ho, ho!
Get out, yeah.
That's for flying in my airspace, Santa.
Oh.
Hello, everybody to the Hobby Boys. We're going to talk about everything time. Brian Butlicky.
Air Force Guy was last episode, by the way. I am your co-host, of course, the creepy uncle of podcasting, a.k.a. Uncle Ice Cream. Hi, Diddle Ice Cream Nation, recording live with us from the Ice Crematorium. I'm your chief here at the North Pole Weekly. Dr. Officer Ice Cream reporting for duty. Ice cream, yes.
Ice cream, yes, ice cream.
And a.k.a. of course, all ice creams are beautiful. I'm your OGC, the original gangsta ice cream.
I get down with the ICE.
You know I see me. And ice cream, Santa. That was a close one. That was
Close.
so close. Santa was everything
close.
around me. Santa. Jingle, jingle.
Jingle, jingle bells, y'all.
Nice.
Now, write in the comments, what does everyone think about Jingle, Jingle Bells, y'all? What are we feeling
It's okay
about
to
that?
say it sucks. Oh.
You fighting your demons?
Ghost. My tripod, and it's not a joke about my huge third leg. My tripod fell over on my desk. And I forgot it was there because I haven't used it since we did the Centaurium. And then there it is, just fell over. I'm scared.
Ghost of Centaurium Past.
Ghost of Centaurium Pass. This is you can kind of tell on the video, but this is the saltiest hat of all time.
It's got that rim.
So much fucking sweat, and it's
a fucking margarita,
like,
bro.
It's like a helmet. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. I need to watch this thing. It's one of
You
my
know,
favorite hats, but I
there's
haven't
a-
touched it in a while. It's gross.
There's a interview. Wow. Callback. There's an interview with Jeremy Allen White, and he's like, "This is my favorite Mets hat," and it's like it's might as well be just the brim of the hat. He's like, "Yeah, I've been wearing it since I was like 7." And he's like, "I wash it like every week. I don't know. It's just my favorite hat. I like the Mets."
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the shape of this hat.
Yeah, it's abysmal. He's like, "Yeah, people ask me like, how much you pay for that?" I was like, "I don't know, $15." Like I don't like 40 years, like whatever, 30 years
Yeah,
ago.
when I
whatever it
was
is.
7. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was so worried wearing this hat would bring up baseball because I'm just not in a place to talk about baseball as in the state of the Yankees right now. It's just been This has been one of the worst years of my life as far as
Yeah.
as far as news goes. I'll give you the bullet points here. Grandma Joe died.
Right.
Now back to the real news. Puma has died earlier this year.
Right.
Then
Very sad. Somber.
Somber. Yankees get knocked out of the World Series in the most embarrassing way probably ever has happened in World Series history. Then Trump wins the election. Then the Mets sign Juan Soto straight out of the Yankees' noses. Two of those things are baseball related, which maybe is a sign of what my life is like and what I focus on. I'd say if I ranked them, the worst thing, Puma's the worst thing. Second worst was maybe Juan Soto. Then World Series and Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you could
Because
guess
like,
that.
how often? I mean, in the last 20 years, how have the Yankees gotten in the World Series? I mean, they've
15
got it like
years.
5 times.
50,
It's been 15 years.
It was,
Oh,
since
wow.
they won it in 2009. That's the last time they had been there.
Wow.
And 2009 now
That's
was
crazy.
a long time ago. You don't think about it, but it is a long time ago now.
And
years.
Trump winning, like this is it. Like, he's done. So like
Right.
now you gotta get through 4 years and he's done.
That's it. But Soto would have made it so that every year for the next 10 years, the Yankees are probably going to get close to the World Series at the very least.
Right.
Now, there's a whole puzzle piece of things to put together, and this is going to be dated maybe by the time people listen to this. Who knows what's going to happen? I just don't know. It was just such a clear, easy path. Like, you get this guy back, and then you're in a good spot, and then you can just kind of add supplemental pieces. It was just more embarrassment too. Like, you just got outriched by the richest guy, and it never happened to them before. You got punched in the nuts. After getting punched in the dick,
Yeah.
your balls are all
Specifically
nuts.
the tip. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
just
you like grab the shaft and just punch the head.
yeah, and they might be fine. Maybe they're better off. Who knows where like Soto's career is actually going to take him He might end up being like a DH in 5 years, and it's not worth paying that much money for a DH, sure.
Right.
But it was just it's so much embarrassment in like a month for one baseball team. It's crazy. It's just been crazy.
There was a the Curb theme playing in the background for a large portion of
Yeah.
coming out of the season.
Yeah, tough stuff. And this hat is salty.
Different podcast.
Different podcast.
Gotta say, this
I
is
don't
a
know
beer
what, I don't know
podcast,
what
not
podcast
the
this is
ball
about. This is the
podcast.
only place I have to talk about it. I can briefly mention it on the Lonely Boys, but then we alienate the guest most of the time. Because they, believe it or
Yeah.
not, the Gossip Girl audience and people that come on the show
'Cause they're
are
Red
not
Sox
baseball
fans.
heads. They're all Red Sox
Oh.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, maybe we'll sign Alex Bregman. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Kristen.
Who cares? one of your star players said a homophobic slur. So like, come on.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was this year.
Cool guy.
Love
He's
him.
young. He's young. He's. of
He
course
played
gonna say
really
that.
well though.
He played well. Covers it up.
I had him on my starting fantasy team, and I gave him up. I knew it was going to happen, so I preemptively gave him up because I knew he was
Yeah.
going to say a slur.
And that's some kind of shit that Chris would say at the same age.
It's true. Yeah,
It's true, and we're his friend.
I would know.
I'm one of those things he would say.
Brian is a slur to me. Don't call my.
Right.
Don't say my name. That we can cut that. That's
he means
not
it like
funny.
cut it.
Just get rid of
I'm
that.
gonna cut it. When he says the slur, though, he means nerd, which doesn't make it okay, but he means nerd. Just so you know, if when Chris bullies you and he's calling you that bad name, he's being nice about it. It's,
It's his way of showing you that he loves you.
cut this whole thing.
And cut. All right, Brower.
Brower.
Theobald.
I know a guy named Brower. He
I don't
sent
know,
me bootleg tapes of Green Day albums before they came out. Always like
Brower?
recorded. Yeah, Anthony Brower, good guy. Not really his friend, but he loves Green Day, and he knew I did too, or do. And now when I hear all of Uno Dos Tres, any song from it, I can hear in my head when like the watermark would come over. It would go,
Oh
I
yeah.
Heart Radio. So I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that that little tag to come into play when I listen to
Yeah.
it on Spotify now.
I feel like I've a similar story with I think it's Cute Without the E by Take Back Sunday.
Okay.
There's like a specific point when it like goes low that you can like when you download it from LimeWire, there was like a very high pitched noise that came through, and like everyone kind of
okay.
knew about it. It was really
Right.
weird. It was
Because
really like
that was
ubiquitous
they're
thing.
big during that time when people were ripping that
Right.
stuff off LimeWire. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always when I was listening to it on Spotify, I'm always like, oh, there's a part and it doesn't happen. I'm like, what? It sounds different.
Yeah. Throws you off. Back to this
Yeah.
description.
Brower Theobald. Theobald is spelled Theobald. I don't know if that's how you say it, Theobald or
Oh, you're
Theobald.
describing your friend Teddy.
Theobald.
Theo
Teddy's
Bald. Yeah.
Oh. Theodore. Would you ever call a guy named Theodore Theo?
If he asked me to, sure, but I wouldn't think of that first.
Yeah. I had a teacher
I don't
named
know
Miss
any
Theo.
Teddys or Theos really. Teddy or Theodore.
It's kind of a lost name.
Don't know anybody. No. I there's a child I know named Teddy. Gina's nephew. I don't think he knows me.
First name Teddy?
First name Teddy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good name.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're setting your kid up for Halloween every year, I guess.
It's got to be a bear every year.
Yeah. Well, what? You're 34. Why don't you gonna be a bear still? It's in your name, asshole.
Or he's the president. Like, I made the Northern State windy.
Huh?
This is a 4-year-old.
He's talking about the New Deal again? Or the Square Deal this time? I don't know which one's which.
Guy loves deals.
Our friend Theodore, who's bald, is a lager. Clear, classic
Ooh.
color, unfolding
lager.
slowly. Barely know her.
do
I don't know if
podcasts.
that's the first time I made the joke on this podcast. I think
Maybe.
it wasn't. I think it's the second time.
Ever.
Ever. A clear classic color unfolding slowly with flavors of toasted malt,
unfolding
grains,
is a new
and
word.
a gentle nuttiness. I know. That's kind of nice. I like
Kinda
the
nice.
unfolding.
Unfolding.
Good. Balanced between the subtle bitterness and sweetness that makes this a most refreshing brew.
Most refreshing. And do you agree?
It's a little too like full. I want more like crisp.
Oh, really?
If that makes sense. Yeah.
I like crisp in my lagers too.
It's kind of like a very like kind of gentle curve where it's like you're not really getting hit with that beer flavor. It's more like suds, a little bit of beer. Okay, now it's getting over. Where I want like that little like sharp like.
Yeah, no, I get that. There was a line recently in the reboot of Gossip Girl, which is fucking horrible. We just watched the
Nice.
worst episode I've seen of any TV show ever.
That's awesome.
Fell asleep during it, had to rewind, unfortunately, and
Oh my
watch it when
fucking god.
I said on the show like I wasn't even tired when I started watching this episode, and somehow
Yeah.
lulled me to bed. There's a part where it's so much about teachers. It's so weird how much of the show is about the teachers at school. But this one teacher has a crush on the other teacher that's running Gossip Girl because the teachers are in charge of the Gossip Girl account. He brings her to like a hip place in the city that has craft beer, and he like oh, that one's from like a microbrew. That's a microbrew from Vermont. And I hate when people like say microbrew about like a singular
Yeah.
entity of a beer. It's like I was someone that like is trying to make a joke about like the craft beer scene.
Yeah.
Like no one says like I'll take that microbrew. That overall,
It's
sucks.
it's just dated. It's dated terminology.
Yeah.
It was technology that made sense in.
It was from
Yeah.
2021. It wasn't that long ago. This show.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that's like 2008 terminology where
Yeah.
it's like.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's
Right.
from like that's sip of sunshine type of shit that you'd say.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh, if you don't like anything too hoppy, you can have a pilsner. And I mentioned something about the scene. Like, oh, you must like this scene because it had beer talk. I was like, no, that guy's a fucking idiot because pilsners are hoppy all the goddamn time. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. It's true. Like, but the pilsners do have that like that nice like crisp edge that you're talking
Yeah.
about. And
I love that.
that's like sometimes maybe a little bit they're a little too far. Where lagers,
Right.
you want part of both. You have too much of
Right.
one side of the lager that you don't like. You want to bring that pilsner in and almost do a half and half of sharp pilsner, and what you have makes like a good lager.
Right.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
that's
feel like
math, but
I think it makes sense. It's like every time so the thing is though weird pilsner no, I'm sorry, real pilsners still taste a little off to me. Like it's always on the back end. Like the initial bite is great, and then on the back end it's always like kind of like a little sour, and I'm like I don't really know what that
Okay.
is, but
Huh.
I feel like there are some places that like get it just right, and then like most breweries pilsners taste like the back end tastes exactly the same, and it's
Right.
like
And a
I
good
can
finish.
deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, hearing pilsners in TV media always reminds me of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
It does. Yeah, me too. Amy's boyfriend.
Yeah, boyfriend. Yeah,
Loves the pilsners. They
Right.
overdo it to a point where it's funny. Like they're making
Right,
fun of
that's
the
the whole
pilsner
point.
guy. Yeah, it's good.
but this is just some old sap writer just trying really hard to be like, what do people in New York like? Beer, I guess, right?
Microbrews, man.
Yeah,
It sucks.
you're going to Greenpoint. They got breweries there, right?
They do.
Yeah, I guess so.
They do.
They got a big one.
I'm having a podcast favorite. You saw
Yeah.
this, Betty Boo's. This is the sparkling tequila smoky pineapple. I gotta say, I'm looking at the lineup in front of me that I've had for this recording session of ours, and Nicole really did do me dirty. Like this is worst case scenario of the shit that I was worried she would put in this box. I said I didn't want to give her too much direction because I was worried. I didn't want to sway her on what she would pick for me and
Yeah,
ruin the mystery, but.
she's producer Nicole.
I said, put in some weird stuff, maybe put in some good stuff. And maybe like 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 are the beers I want to drink.
Yeah.
But between Sam Adams Wicked Double, which is 2 years old, Sip of Sunshine, which is something that I got a 4-pack of, and there were 3 left because I tried one to see what it was like. And this is now number 2. The vodka sodas, I did enjoy the creamsicle. I didn't know what to expect with that one, so I was always weary. I'm like, I never really want like a. I was worried it would be like a seltzer taste. We constantly talk about how much we're over seltzers. Good surprise. Betty Boo's. This isn't bad. It's just weird. It's so like. It's a bizarre flavor in a can. It's very vanilla-y. I think I remember even like saying I did like this one when we talked about this with Mel, but it's one of the weirdest things I've ever drank out of a can before, especially like alcohol wise. It's not overall satisfying. It's more interesting than good.
Yeah. I remember that was our consensus with most of them. I'm like, this is like, I mean, it is supposed to be.
It's like something.
It's supposed to be like it's supposed to be like canned cocktails with like real stuff. So it's like, I mean, I feel like cocktails can go all sorts of places.
Yeah. It does taste exactly like it did back then. Like it has held.
It's consistent.
I think these are like.
Because it's from the episode. Okay, that makes sense. So it is. Yeah.
I think this might have been the last can from that episode too.
Right. No more Blake.
I didn't go out and buy more of these Betty Boo's canned cocktails. Believe me.
I feel like you should. There's got to be some Blake celebration after the reboot is finished on Lonely Boys.
They should. I mean, but it's so far removed from the original show. There's like.
That's fair.
It was so funny. The mention. All they did in this episode to call back the old cast was say, like, remember Blair? And then they dressed up for Halloween as Chuck and Dan, and they're just wearing suits. And for Halloween, like
that's fucking hysterical.
One of them goes, "I'm Chuck Bass," and the other one goes, "I'm Dan Humphrey," and they're just like girls wearing suits. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Chuck and Dan!" Like, how the fuck did you know that? You're wearing just regular ass suits. And then these 2 girls that were
one was wearing a black, white and blue pinstripe shirt.
No. It was just very basic, like tuxedo looking things. And Chuck would have like a crazy tuxedo. Dan, I was like, it's so easy to wear like a Jason Mraz type vest and a fedora, and you're like, okay, sure, Dan, great. But no, it was the saddest attempt at like. Remember when we used to have characters you knew and liked? We said their names out loud, so.
I hate reboot culture, honestly.
This is like the biggest offender. I never seen anything like this.
It's so bad.
I
guess like I'm wondering if I can't do that. I can't do that.
They're hour long too. They're longer. They're longer now.
No, that's okay. I'm wondering how much like recency bias there is of like, yo man, there's so many reboots right now, but like I wonder truly how many reboots there were like of our stuff growing up that like we didn't really know about. And I guess what I'm thinking about is like even I'll go even far as to say like shows. Yeah, well, I guess like that's spin-offs, so it's like kind of different.
But they came after the other shows were over, though. Sort of.
Right, I guess. Yeah. Well, because like I guess people like Frasier. I don't know why people like Frasier, but people like it.
I've never even touched it.
I watched like the first. And I guess like people always say like the first season's not that great, but I did watch the first few episodes of the first season. I was like, I don't like this. Like this is fucking boring.
Yeah,
it is truly like big word. Small person, and then they're like, "What's that mean?" And then laugh track, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" So fucking stupid. But then I'm even thinking of like Scrubs, right? Like there was this beautiful show with a not so beautiful person because Zach Braff sucks.
I wasn't announced that show either.
It's I mean like it is a weird early 2000s show, and some part of it's are like, oh, that's kind of icky. But for the most part, it's still pretty good. And then it's still funny. Ends pretty well, and then they're just like, hey, let's make one more season because why not? Like it ended like show. It fucking ended.
Right.
And then they got I don't remember if JD came back or John Doring. That's his fucking name in the show still. Zach Braff came back.
Oh.
But all I know is what's his name? Dave Franco's in it.
Okay, I have heard that.
Yeah.
Got to start.
But it's just fucking. It's one of those weird
probably
things.
If you wanted to watch that show, just skip that last season.
100%. It is not relevant at all.
Yeah.
Bad.
Which is also bad and not relevant. Us. Oh wait, did we give these a rating
We
yet?
have, no, we didn't.
Damn,
We
I was
didn't do
about to hit the
Slayer Day.
button. That was close.
Yeah.
Because once I hit the button, I have to end. I can't go back. I have to end
Yes,
the
you
episode,
can't go back.
That's the rule.
Can't go back.
But I don't remember what I gave this. I want to try to stay consistent with what I said in the past. But at this moment, I think I was so disappointed. And I was hoping for a beer. When I want a beer, this is not what I want. This is just not. I don't think I would ever go out and like if this was handed to me, I might just say I'm not gonna have a drink. Then I don't want. I'd rather have nothing than this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nay.
Wow. This lager is. I think there's like a trillion other lagers that I'd rather have than
Okay.
this. I mean, I was like most other lagers I would prefer. So again, nay.
Very depressing ending.
It is.
I also-
We're
I-
drinking
I said,
depressants. So,
this is bad. I'd rather drink nothing than this, and then I took a sip afterwards.
but I'm already drinking, so I might as well just keep going.
I'm already down the hatch. All right.
All right.